Discussion videos are fun. They're fun to think up in script, fun to argue about with friends during editing, and yes, it's even fun to read all of your comments and see what it is that people have to say about something. The world is big enough to allow for a wide range of opinions on things, and ultimately we're all swaying in the wind to the whims of a vast corporation way more powerful than us who decides the future of this game that we all occasionally love. That being said though, that's boring. Clown shoes to all of that live and let live nonsense. Yesterday I uploaded a video about link summoning, Genesis format, topologic bomber dragon, and some more stuff. Go check it out if you want. Many of you already did and likely will be for the near future. Unfortunately though, it's just one of those vids, you know the ones. More comments than likes and a viewer retention rate that suggests that some people just dropped by to share their 2 cents and dip. That's fine, but if we're gonna discuss, we're gonna discuss. Today, we're going to take a look at some of the comments that were left on the video and talk about them, answer some of them, and try to push forward this discussion about the removal of links from Genesis format, and what it means about the link summoning mechanic more broadly. Some people commented absolute paragraphs, and it's fascinating to see so many people put so much thought juice into this subject. I'll be removing the names from these commenters, even though we aren't here to make fun of anybody, and most of the comments are pretty positive, or at least respectful. It's just good manners. The first comment that piqued my interest read, "Link summoning has the same issues as Pendulum. It is too easy of a mechanic to break. Xyz naturally has control because of needing materials that get burned to use their effects, ignoring Zodiac, which goes out of its way to bypass that, and the need of a tuner really controls Synchro, ignoring self-generating stuff like Mare Mare. Aren't more Link monsters banned than any other type of card? I might be wrong about that, but I think that's the case. So I wouldn't want to balance a point value around the existence of Link monsters at all, especially since all of these mechanics don't interact like card effects since they are summoning mechanics." This comment really interested me because, to me, it came so close to acknowledging the point that I was trying to make in the video while not quite getting there. The commenter simultaneously states that they believe links are a more naturally broken mechanic, but then proceeds to immediately get into the reasons why Xyz and Synchros are teetering on the edge of broken as well. More and more, as the game progresses, extra deck monsters find ways to summon themselves that don't require you to minus too heavily in card advantage. It's not fun to dump your entire hand to lose to Gameciel. And so the 2 broad ways that you can circumvent that are to increase the power of the monster or reduce the cost of summoning the monster. The former annoys players way more than the latter, so that's what they've been doing. We've moved away from God mode extra deck towers and towards weaker, more situational bosses that cost less to make. In my opinion, a better change. The final point about cards not interacting like card effects and instead like summoning mechanics is also kind of what I was saying, because so many modern extra deck monsters just do function like card effects. Jam Fever, Typhon, Astraloud, they just kind of like do whatever they want, rules be damned. I blame Cyber/Harpy Lady. The second comment today states, "Links actually are a problem from a design perspective. Not because they enabled special summon soup. The reason why links are problematic is because they are so generic. The summoning requirements are basically X number of monsters. This can be seen in the Fiendsmith engine, in which any 2 monsters can just turn into full Fiendsmith combo. It doesn't matter what they are, doesn't matter what type they are, bam, Fiendsmith. Verte Anaconda is another, and so is Bow of the Goddess, etc., etc. Links reduce deck diversity and consolidate the game around generic cards in a way that other summoning methods just cannot." I got a lot of comments that went a little deeper into the links are bad game design problem, which is so interesting to me because I couldn't disagree more. Individual link monsters have the ability to be too powerful, sure, and we all know the list, but I fail to see what makes links as a mechanic any more generic than anything else. Generic links are generic, sure. Knightmare Phoenix is designed to be super flexible and playable in a wide variety of decks, but many links are so frustratingly restrictive that they can't even begin to sniff play in anything other than their dedicated strategy. Cards like Hextia, Yummy Snatchy, or Emperor Charles. It's the individual cards, not the mechanic. I don't know how much this matters, but the Fiendsmith engine, which the commenter mentioned, being generic in every deck in the game with Moon of the Closed Heaven, was absolutely 100% intended by Konami. That's why they did it, that's why they made the card. It wasn't some sin of link summoning or even link ones in general. Moon was designed to enable Fiendsmith in everything. It did that, and then they banned it. Maybe this opens up a discussion of do mechanics exist outside of their creator or whatever, but it was a clear-cut design decision, which you can criticize, but it's not the fault of links. Bo is degenerate and deserved its ban, and Verte as well. Fuck that card. This comment says, Link summoning is objectively a poorly designed mechanic. They are way too generic, and with Link climbing, you don't lose value. All Link monsters should always count for one material so it doesn't spiral out of control. This one is kind of similar to the last one, but I do like the focus on not losing value. Losing value is one of those things that we want our opponent to do, but not so much ourselves. So it's weird. Card economy is only going to skyrocket going forward though, as Konami decides that giving players more and more cards to play more and more Yu-Gi-Oh! Is going to be the nature of the game. This, I believe, will also lower the ceiling on what a deck can actually do, which is a good thing, in my opinion. Like I said before, if your problem is with special summon spam more than Link summoning or Link climbing, that's cool. But I think that's just a perspective of what you want from the game, you know? A lot of people hate synchro climbing, and I don't know if you've ever been forced to go second behind a Utopia player with no hand traps, but those people are not to be trusted. Our fourth commenter reads, more Link decks should have been built like Appliancer. Co-linking is the only interesting thing Link monsters have to offer. Without really having to think about if an effect will resolve if you have a specific arrow pointing to them, Links are just a far more generic form of synchro summoning. I think that Genesis not including Link monsters is a good thing, not because I think someone finds the concept of arrows pointing to zones to be complicated, but because I think the game is in a healthier spot if you can't just turn any two monsters into Verte or something. Before I respond, I just want to point out that the AI comment respond feature that YouTube offers, because the world is swiftly becoming a soulless shell like something the Knights of Hanoi would have fought against, says, Appliancer is a really great example of what a lot of people wanted out of the mechanic, which, like, I know is basically what this guy is saying, but imagine going to a regionals and bitching about the format, and some dude is just like, yeah man, I really wish the meta was a lot more like Appliancer right now. I mean, I'm out of touch, but come on. Anyway, Appliancer is awesome. One of my favorite decks from a design perspective, and alongside Sky Striker, Salamangreat, and Marincess, is one of my go-to examples for how to design a well-designed Link 1 strategy. I wish that co-linking had been utilized more. It's something that Links have going for them that no other summoning mechanic has. Unfortunately, in order to make the payoff worth the hoops that you have to jump through, you gotta make things like Tri-Gate Wizard, and that's a whole separate issue. Once again though, I agree with Verte's ban. This absolute Chad says, do you know how disgusting it is when you see people build something like Red Dragon Archfiend, a deck filled with locks to make you only able to special summon dragon synchros from the extra deck, and they are still able to slap fucking SP and access code talker into it? Links are the embodiment of Yu-Gi-Oh's power creep because they're the newest summoning mechanic and are pure cancer for it. You hand-waving complaints about Links being Yu-Gi boomers is fucking stupid, and if Genesis ever comes out in Master Duel, I'll never see those dog shit cards again. First of all, rude. Second of all, why is it inherently disgusting that someone could make SP or whatever in Red Dragon Archfiend? I don't get it. Like, would it make you happier if that player instead summoned some stupid Dark Dragon synchro like Dispouter? Would that sit well in your soul because the card isn't blue? I can't imagine the level of the carrots can't touch the mac and cheese required for that to disgust you. Your words, not mine. Thirdly, I didn't dismiss criticism of Links as being Yu-Gi boomers shaking their fist at the sky. I spent at least half the video validating many people's concerns about the way Links were introduced to the game. Give me a damn break. I didn't post this entire comment because it's longer than the script of the original video, but Lord, dude, breathe, please. Finally, you don't have to wait for Genesis to come out in Master Duel, my guy. It's out in simulators like YG Omega and Dueling Book, and you can play for free. So just go do that and be happy. Finally, this commenter states, you know, I really appreciate you saying you are an Altergeist player right from the gate, because I couldn't find any holes in your argument. So I really needed a reason to disregard this entire video. Bless you. Obviously, this person's being cheeky and cute, and that's cool, and I love it. Most of the comments on this video were wildly positive, and even though the like-dislike bar is a little more left-heavy than is typical for this channel, it still shows. I wanted to highlight people that didn't agree with me on this vid, because otherwise it would have just been me mostly making that video all over again, or saying true for 11 minutes, or however long this ends up being. All that to say that this comment is especially valuable because me being an Altergeist stan really puts me in a wild position as far as Link summoning goes. Because I don't know how many of you know this, but Altergeist is not only not generic, it's one of the most xenophobic and restrictive archetypes in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! I say one of because the last thing I need is to be mugged by Nordic Beast fans outside of YCS Pittsburgh. Geist is such an example of Link summoning done right. However, it comes at the cost of being near impossible to splash additional engines in. The Striker Geist build that I'll get around to posting a video about on some day that I really feel like 300 views and a minute 41 of watch time would benefit the channel took so much navigating of locks and delaying plays to work, it's insane. Geist monsters require Geist monsters, tribute Geist monsters, and search Geist monsters. It's all Geist all the time. So if there's anything I think that we can all agree on at the end of the day, it's that if more of Yu-Gi-Oh! Was like Altergeist, the world would be a better place. And that, my friends, gets the Faker stamp of approval. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully this came across as respectful and as interested in discussion as I wanted. If not, you know how it is. Try again. Leave a comment if you want to, like if you liked, and remember to wash behind your ears.